All right, everybody. I've got a special one for you today with the awesome Rhonda Shear. I'm just going to get the info so I get it right. Rhonda Shear hosted Up All Night, which was on USA for 9 years in the 90s. And she is rebooting the show. They had a Halloween special, which you can watch on YouTube now. That's already, obviously, Halloween already done. So that's on Kings of Horror YouTube channel. And she has a Thanksgiving special coming out Saturday, November 22nd at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. I recommend you download or you stream or whatever Thanksgiving again at like 8 and then watch Up All Night at 10 p.m. Very exciting. And she's shooting the show in St. Petersburg, like 5-10 minutes from my house. So, maybe we'll have some future communication as well aside from this podcast. So very excited. Rhonda's very funny. She's had an awesome career. Even just looking through her IMDb, she's been on all like of the hit sitcoms, it seems like. So she's fun. And yeah, November 22nd, 10 p.m. You can watch it live. She'll be in the comments, doing that. And then she also has a Christmas special episode that will be in December. And then in January, it will start every other week. They'll have a new episode. So pretty cool stuff. And exciting for me personally that it's in St. Petersburg because obviously I love bringing films to St. Petersburg. Sorry, I just got just sidelined by the most chattiest Instacart delivery person of all time. Anyways, check out Up All Night. Go get Thanksgiving again. Speaking of things being shot in St. Petersburg, Thanksgiving again. Shot almost entirely in St. Petersburg. As is The Last Ride, which will be coming out at some point in 2026. We've got, actually, I'll start talking about that soon. We've got a couple of showings in January, I believe. Central Florida Film Festival, as well as we have a theater in Winter Park, I believe, that will be having a screening there. So, not really, it's out of the local Tampa Bay area because otherwise we wouldn't be eligible for Sunscreen Film Festival, which we hopefully get accepted to. Anywho, sit back, relax, enjoy. Here's me with the wonderful Rhonda Shear. All right, everybody, I'm very pleased. I have to clear my throat in the intro. To welcome
That's
Rhonda
okay.
Shear. I usually do it right before I hit record, and I didn't, so that was
Yeah,
just out of
that's
routine.
okay.
Rhonda, welcome to the
Thank you.
podcast.
So I'll I'll clear my throat too, and I probably will do it many, many more times. Thank you. I'm happy to be here, Jeff. Thank you. I'm really having so much fun doing press and amazing things that's going on with the reboot and return of Up All Night. And I don't know if you watched the show back in the day, but you
I
look very
was
young.
I was a little young for it. I feel like I may have watched the tail end of it. It seems like something I remember staying up. I would usually have to wait until my little brother, who shared a room with me, fell asleep, and my dad would watch some different weird stuff. And when I was reading about Up All Night, I was like, I wonder if sometimes that's what we were watching because it was a lot
Probably.
of like kind of B
Oh yeah,
movies.
no, I'm sure there's so many fathers who did that, including my husband, who's my junior high school sweetheart, reunited. And so I never married until my 40s. So, so he was married with two children, and he used to watch the show with his son. So,
Mm.
because we were, boyfriend and girlfriend back in the day. So that was funny. So my stepson is very aware of the show and knows, who I am. So, but I think a lot of daddies watched with their kids when their wives went to sleep or the wives were doing something. It wasn't really that naughty. It was fun. It was entertaining. It was mindless humor. And that's what we're bringing back and bringing it back along with a new twist of today. So I'm really excited. I'm so excited about it. And the response has been off the chart, what we're getting. It's like it's blowing my mind and it's feeding my soul.
Awesome. Well, and by the way, I was talking to my mother on the phone a little bit ago, and she was asking me who I was talking to on my podcast, and I'm like, what is the damn word? Rebooting. I'm like re
I know.
What the hell is that word? I was losing my mind. I'm so happy you said that.
No, you know what I thought you were going to say? I thought your mom was going to know me from my intimate apparel line because that's what people know. Like I've been on Home Shopping Network for 23 years with a line of intimate apparel, and it's not like the dirty bookstore kind of lingerie. It's like your mom would love it. It's everyday intimate apparel that all women, all ages love. Actually, your mom would love it. So a lot of times I get on, you know, been doing press and people will go, "Oh, my wife loves your bras and your shapewear." But I know you from Up All Night. So you have to tell your mom, Rhonda Shear from HSN, she might know who I am.
I'll have to because I don't think I even got to your name because I was so frustrated about not being able to think of the word reboot. I'm like, I know it starts with an R-E. And she's like,
Right.
resurrected? I'm like, I mean, that would
That
kind of
too.
work, but that's not the one I was thinking of.
Yes, that would work as well for sure. But go ahead.
So you had your kind of first one for Halloween, correct? And now you're having is it your second one that's
We
November
did.
22nd?
Yeah, so we did the Halloween special. And so we're with Kings of Horror, which is Kings of Horror is a channel on YouTube. And the company that owns Kings of Horror has six other channels, nostalgia, comedy, all kinds of other channels as well. But this is their horror channel. But we've already been getting such a great response. They think they're going to put the show on their comedy channel as well. And they've got like about 3 million followers or subscribers across all of their different platforms. And YouTube is like definitely the place to be. It's like what basic cable was back in the day, and like syndication was. It's really very cool because you can actually create content and get it on right away, and you don't have to wait to go through heads of networks and studios and take meetings for meetings. And it's very cool to see something that you get up there quickly and that it turns around and it works. But to answer your question, yeah, so we you can see our Halloween show right now if you go to kingsofhorror.com or search on YouTube Kings of Horror, and it will come up all night. It will come up and you up all night. You have to say that was the way I said it, and that's the way I still say it. It will pop up, and it's a great romp through if you like all things horror. And then our second show will air on November 22nd on right before Thanksgiving. We're showing The Last Thanksgiving, and the name of our episode is Scream Queens Turkey Trot, because I have a lot of Scream Queens on, and we're sending them to Scream Queen School, how to be a Scream Queen. And then we have a feast after that. And so for people who love that genre, they'll know a lot of the gals that I have on. And then we do our third special in December, and that's going to air December the 20th. And that is our Christmas show. And then after that, they all air at 10 p.m. Eastern time on the Kings of Horror. And then you can certainly, then they'll live there. So you can go back and look at them after that. But then we go into an every other week in January. So
Oh,
we will be
nice.
in production indefinitely for as long as people have us. And the way it looks like the show's going to explode, if anything. I mean, it's what I love is that we used to wrap around films, much like Elvira or Joe Bob Briggs, if you know him, or Svengoolie back in the day. And that's what we're doing now is like sketches at comedy. What I'm adding a little bit more to it is um, characters that will live on the show, almost like our
Hmm.
Seinfeld kind of character. And, so it have a little bit more of a sitcom. So that as you watch it, you'll get to know these characters week after week after week. So people will love that and start to follow it for that, along with me giving young actors chances to get on camera and to do sketch comedy and to do stand-up comedy and music. And so I love lifting up young people and young talented people and giving them a chance. So for me, it's a blast to come back and do that, but be kind of the leader of, you know, real, true sketch comedy. It will be a through story. Like every show will have a beginning, a middle, and an end. That it's as you watch it, it will, have a whole story to it, as opposed to just a sketch, a random sketch. But you're going to see some fun characters and some original music and some really fun films too. And it's supposed to be mindless, fun comedy and films that you can just turn on and not have to look at politics or any negativity and just enjoy yourself. And that's what it was back in the day. And that's what we're hoping to bring it back to now.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, and it's really cool with it being on YouTube. Like you said, they can go watch the Halloween special. So
Right.
they could watch it. This episode will come out on the 17th. So they could go watch it right after they listen to this podcast. Uh,
Absolutely.
and so if you the advantage of that to the other, the previous iteration that was on USA, if you had something to do when the show was on,
That was it. Right.
unless you tape recorded it,
Unless
if
you
you knew how
taped
to
it.
if you knew how to use the VCR settings. I do remember trying to learn how to do that to record football games, but it was
Yes.
hit or miss.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a whole new world now that this will live out there. And I think that's really cool. I mean, I think this is why how pieces go viral and even, sponsors like some commercials can go viral is that it does live out there,
Hmm.
forevermore. So, yeah, back in the day, as a matter of fact, speaking of back in the day, I did 450 episodes. I was on Friday nights. Gilbert Gottfried was on Saturday nights, and we both hosted the same kind of films for USA Network. I was on from 91 to 98. Gilbert was on from 89 to 98. And I did about 450 shows. I think that he did about 500 and something episodes. And sadly enough, that was tape stock back in the day. USA Network literally erased all the tape stock for
Oh my gosh.
the tape. What's sad is that to me, to lose 500 episodes of anything that Gilbert Gottfried did, he was so brilliant, is very sad. Myself, I'm missing about 20, 30 episodes, but it was in my contract that they would give me two VHSs, one for myself, just my part of the show, not the movies, and then one for my mom because she lived in New Orleans and elderly at the time. And she couldn't stay up to watch, like she tried, but to watch all the movies and everything. So we'd send her a tape and she'd get to see, pop it in the VCR and watch the show. So I'm like one of the only people that has, if not the only person to have all of my own episodes. So what that's making for is great content. And for people who join Patreon, there was different levels of Patreon involved with us. Then they can go ahead and see some of this really cool content from way back in the day.
Nice. Yeah, yeah. Make sure I'm sure you already digitized all of it by now, but
Yes.
but yeah,
Yes.
that's the cool thing. If you did save the VHS tapes, I moved last year and I had a whole box and I'm like, I don't think anything's too important on here. And I don't want to go I
I
don't want
know.
to
I am really very, I don't, at first I thought I was crazy, but I'm like a saver kind of person. I'm not a hoarder, but like anything through my career, I guess I always felt so privileged to be in the entertainment business that I got a hold of most of my footage via VHS or however I could get it. I mean, I was on Happy Days and Married with Children and Three's Company and Full House and Dallas and all those shows. And I always had either I taped it myself or I would ask, my agent to get a hold of the footage. So I have all of that footage, most of it. And I mean, I literally, for years, kept it in storage in LA when I lived out there in a refrigerated facility that cost a fortune, but I did it. And then when I moved to Florida with my husband, he built a special room for it. So we've been digitizing for years all this stuff, but I literally have like 4,000 plus VHSs of things from my career, which I never thought would mean anything except for me. Occasionally take a look at, but now it's content and people are asking for it. So it's really kind of exciting.
Yeah, no, that's great that you did. I think I have the same mindset as you of like this might be something someday.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
yeah, and it's you're I feel like you're never going to regret keeping something. You'll only regret not keeping something. If maybe that's not the best
Absolutely.
mindset, but I feel like with things like content, I feel like it is the best mindset.
No, I mean, at least now it goes up on YouTube a lot of times, or it goes up and you can save it. But back then, it was just videotape, which couldn't go bad. For the most part, we've had very few through the years. I mean, most of it's done now, not all of it, but most of it. We've had very few bad tapes, but we're able to correct a lot of things when it is, when it is problematic. But I feel really blessed that I kept all this stuff, especially since USA Network just got rid of it. Like, I mean, they just got rid of it. I mean, and tape back then was so cheap. It's so sad
Well,
that they did that.
it's crazy that back then storage space. Well, I guess now it's just a different version of storage space. You're paying for the
I-
cloud or whatever.
right,
Back then,
right.
though, you had to have a warehouse to keep all your stuff.
Exactly.
So, yeah, I guess you did have to pick and choose. But yeah, I know. What was I? I was asking somebody about like an old football game, and they're
Right.
like, "There's no footage of it. They got rid of it."
I
And I feel
know.
like there's no footage of this.
I
professional
know.
football game? They're like, no, there's none because
I know.
you know how much reels of film cost and to store them and everything. It was like,
Right.
and
And
I
it's funny because I did pageants back in the day and I was in like the National Miss America, not Miss America, Miss USA pageant. And that I don't have. That's like the only thing that I don't have in my library is I would have loved to have had that footage or even from the statewide. But other than that, I have a lot of stuff.
yeah,
On my Hollywood years, I have like some of my I did a lot of stuff in New Orleans commercials and I have some of it, not all of it, but VCR was good. And I didn't know how to work it back in the day. I wouldn't now, but I could transfer stuff. And we actually my team had to go find old VCR machines. But here's what's cool. There's a real resurgence in young people wanting to feel and touch stuff. So people are buying VHSs, they want vinyl, they want DVDs. So myself, I get my plug-in right now at Rhonda Shear upallnight.com. We are, selling a lot of merchandise from the show along with some DVDs and comic books. And young people are loving that because I don't think they got to feel and touch like we did Walkman and the DVDs and the VCRs. And so I think you're going to start seeing VCR machines coming back. I think they're going to do a new twist on them.
that's I've heard similar things with I've made in the last year I've made two movies. And a lot of people are like, make sure you get copies on DVD that you can take places and sell if if
Absolutely.
because it
Absolutely.
is coming back the physical media aspect of it for
They
sure.
love the physical media. I think it's just so cool. So you're an actor as well.
I am, and actually, I've got a proposition for everyone listening to this on Saturday, November 22nd. You've got a
Yes.
great day ahead of you. About 2 hours before 10 p.m. Eastern time, go and buy or rent Thanksgiving Again, which is my movie that just came out 9 days ago. Go buy or rent that, and then watch Up All Night. It'll be a great night for you. Lots
That
of
will
laughs.
be. No, I love that you're not. Well, then you need to come be on this show and do sketches with us too.
Yeah, and I can tell you because I've had to cast two movies, and they both filmed here in St. Pete. So I know a lot of actors too. So
No, please, I'm serious about that. We are looking for that. We've had a wonderful response to our castings that we put out just on social media. And I'm happily surprised at the local talent. It's amazing. And I've just done two films that were local. I mean, one was a local producer director. I have a feeling it's called the big game. It's called The Big Game. That was done. There was another one I did before. I've been also acting again, and it's kind of funny. And my reason is people your age and older even a little bit older who remember me, who grew up with me, have been reaching out to me to act because they remember me and they're like, "Are you available for this film?" So I have an agent. I was on a Tyler Perry episodic, which will air. I have to actually look for that. It's probably coming up soon. On a show called All the Queen's Men, two films that are coming out in 2026. So for me, it's been a hoot. It's been just feeding my soul. But now getting to cast this and being on the writing, casting, producing side is really cool. So you've got to come out and see our fabulous facility because we're actually shooting out of our own studio. It's called Sheer Media Studios, and we're in St. Pete.
oh, that's
We're
even better. I don't have to go over the bridge or anything.
No, you didn't have to go to the bridge. You're going to be really surprised when you see this place. So I have my next door is a large building which houses Rhonda Shear Intimates, and this was our second building that we use for warehousing. But now we warehouse out of California, so we didn't need this building. We didn't want to sell it. It's a fabulous industrial building, and that industrial complex of like 28th Street. And so we turned it into a studio and thinking that this town needs more studios for all
Yeah.
things that would be social media or podcasters, influencers, or movies, TVs, commercials, live shopping, whatever. And so that's what we built. And so what my husband did was literally we recreated my iconic bedroom set that we had back in the 90s on USA Network. We recreated it and it looks really similar and it's really fun. So that's where I'm coming from. It's a really cool studio. So you definitely need to come see here so you can utilize it and spread the word to all of
Oh
your
yeah.
friends in the
No,
industry.
I think you and I have the same goal, which is I was on Tampa Bay Morning Blend, which is the to promote
Yes, I was
Thanksgiving
just,
again. Yeah, I was going to say you probably are familiar with it because I bet you've been on it.
they're so
And
awesome, those gals. They're
yeah,
lovely.
and she asked, well, why do you think this area could, get more? I'm like, because I know the talent's awesome. I mean,
Talent's awesome and
the,
unbelievable.
and it's beautiful locations here. The one
And
thing
we
we
can make it look like anywhere.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and the one thing I felt like is missing is more studios. Um,
And we've got it. And I mean, we're so new. I mean, we just really kind of opened in September. So the word's not out yet. A few people have come here, but I think our show, when they see the production value of what the crews here can do, it's going to blow people's mind. And even if you just go and see our first show, which was our very first show, and even on US Network, our first show was, this show was really good. I mean, a few little things that will correct. I mean, anytime you do a new show with new cast and new everything, new crew, new lighting, new studio, there's going to be a few bumps, but we were very, very, very pleased with our outcome. And on top of that, we literally shot and turned it around in 5 days to air,
wow.
shooting to airing. So very professional people here, as you know, very talented people, very talented editors. So it's a great area to shoot in. And we're not crowded like Orlando, and we're not insane like Miami.
Yeah.
And we're on the West Coast, so we're easy normally, except for right now, the airlines are a little crazy, or what's going on, but hopefully that'll change. So, we're an easy airport to get in and out of. So, and we're centrally located, and the weather's, it's either hot or okay. It's good now. It's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. Super windy today.
Super windy, but beautiful, just beautiful out there.
Oh
So
yeah.
yeah. So you need to come visit. You need to be a cast member. We're starting to already get some regulars on the show that I think are going to be just great. And I think that's what's really fun is that I'm going to be able to give local actors some place to shine and have great footage from and just be part of a team and a family.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll definitely get in contact with you and
Yes.
we'll set some stuff up. And yeah, it's crazy how many, I mean, the two movies, and one of them I only think I had like five roles available because most of
Right.
them I wrote for certain people.
Oh, wow.
But I
Okay.
mean, just for those two movies, I probably have over 200 submissions of actors that are, some are
Absolutely.
Orlando area, but
Right.
they'd work as locals.
That is great. Well, keep me in mind. I play great cougars. I do.
Yeah,
Had a
well, I'm hoping the third one's coming. I know which one I want to do third, so
Well,
I can definitely
that
get you in
is
there.
what that is wonderful. Seriously, congratulations on that and producing. It's a wonderful feeling to be able to control and do and create and act. And there's no reason that we can't do that now. And especially from here, there's a lot of talented people, and I'm so excited to be doing this. And it's a new world. Like you don't have to live in Hollywood or LA. If anything, it's easier not to. After we get off later on, I have an audition for a commercial that my agent got me, a national commercial that I'm going to put on the iPhone and send off. And you couldn't do that when I was, in LA. In my years, I was in LA 26 years, and a lot of knocking on doors and physically making videotapes to send around and photographs to send around. It's all digital now and all really, really cool.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I only started acting recently. I've gone to one in-person audition in,
Wow.
I guess it's been only 3 years, or maybe four,
Amazing.
but only
That's
one.
amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah. I would
it's crazy.
imagine, like they'll like my agent asked me on this commercial, would I be available for a callback in person? And I'm like, yeah, I could do that. Yes. And even though I think it's in Atlanta, I'm like, if it's a big enough commercial, I'll be there.
That's the thing when you look at acting gigs. There are some that's like you have to work as a local, and I was looking at one that was in Atlanta, and it's like, but
Yeah,
it's 2 weeks and it's $4,500. I could be a local. I can pay my airfare and hotel room and still feel good about the money I walk away with.
actually, so many actors are doing that. The film that I did here, other actors from LA did the same thing. I just did a film in LA called Hollywood Villa, really funny little film. Um, And it's funny, the producer director knew me from Up All Night. and knew me from, just my Holly didn't, I mean, I didn't personally know, but knew of me. And it was really nice to get a phone call and talk on the phone and get cast without reading. It was like really cool. And then I went out there and I'll admit it, just like every other actor that wants to work on my own dime. And I made a little trip of it. My husband joined me for a couple of days and we did the Hollywood scene. Of course, I lived there for a long time, so I know the town well. And probably wasn't worth it in terms of what I got paid, but you know what? The film is going to be really good. So sometimes you just got to take chances if you can afford to. Obviously, not all of us can all the time, but I think that this is the new world and they're going to cast locally, which is great and wonderful too. But if you're offered a role and you don't live there and you can swing it, I think it's great to do. I really do. It's a
Yeah.
new world. It's just a whole new world of the way things work. I mean, I had to go in and audition for everything and it was all cast out of LA only or New
Yeah.
York. That was
Well,
it.
and looking through your IMDb, it's just I mean, you mentioned a bunch of them. The Full House, Cheers, I think, was on
Yeah.
there, and
Yeah.
a gazillion, every sitcom you've heard of. In essence, it seems like you were in at least one episode of.
I was very blessed. Comedy was my thing. I wanted desperately to do a sitcom. And it's funny, I hosted films for 8 years and all these major B film producers came through my studio and up all night. And I never really reached out to them. And I could have probably done so many B films, but I wanted comedy. I had my eye on this comedy ball and I came very close to it, but just never hit. And mainly it's because it was a looks thing. It was like, you're too sexy to be funny. And so I heard this so often that I got so frustrated. That's why when I auditioned for Up All Night, I went full out sexy because they were looking for that. They were looking for over the top. And so I was told, well, you have to look more like the girl next door in the sitcoms back in the day. Now you can look anyway. You can be ethnic, it was great. But back then they were very set on a certain look. And if you stood out too much from the rest of the cast, they didn't want you. Well, I didn't want to stand out. I tried. I mean, I'm older now, so I know it's harder to see that, but I was just myself, but it was a really weird time because I was also told, well, you're too pretty to be funny because as a
Yeah,
stand-up. Well, that world's changed a little bit, but definitely the world of stand-up when I was started it, there was hardly any women working. People would say, I don't know what you're doing. You have to be a guy to be funny. You have to be a guy to, and it was really hard to get on stage. So what I did, this is the entrepreneur in me, is that I started creating spaces for women to work comedy. I went to the clubs and I would say on Monday night, you guys are either dark or, you have very few people in your audience. Why don't you let me book women of comedy? And I did. I ended up booking like nights in delis and comedy clubs in places where it was kind of an off night. And I gave a lot of women a chance to get on stage back in that it was the mid 80s on. And then finally, I kept at it and I started headlining and then I got up all night. And of course, your headlining positions when you're on television, they even open more. But I had to fight through a lot of no's in LA. And that's my advice always to people is like, just don't take no for an answer, just do it. And this is why I'm loving the medium of this iPhone and or a camera or a podcast that you can create on your own. And if you stick with it and you've got the talent to pull people in, you're going to make it. So
yeah,
you don't have to wait for, as a matter of fact, I was saying this story earlier on another radio show that I have a friend who's the president of MGM, unscripted. I mean, he's a dear friend. I've known him for years and years. He used to use me in all his shows when he was less of a mogul. But now, he's tried to do things with me, but well, I have to go through this person. He has to go through that person. And then there's a meeting and then there's a meeting with an executive. And then by the time it happens, people don't know me or someone does know me or, I've aged out or it's not right or whatever. And when you can just create yourself, you don't have to hear all that. And then
yeah.
if you're good, cream rises. As we know, so many people have made it just off of YouTube or TikTok on their own. So you just keep at it, and keep creating. Even if I didn't have a vehicle right now for Up All Night, I would just do it because it feeds my soul. But it looks like this show is going to really go out there and explode, and I'm really excited about it.
No, no, it's exciting to hear about it and to hear your enthusiasm about it too
Thank
is
you.
great. It is so weird how so one of the other great things about this area because there's a couple things what you just said is the whole process you were saying with MGM about you have to down here. It's like you don't have to talk to anyone. You
No,
you're just
no.
like I I uh I had we very low budget. I mean, higher budget maybe than you'd think, but not from watching the movie. I think you'd think we had a much higher budget watching the
No,
movie,
no,
to be
no, I
clear.
get
But
it.
but
There's
I
some great,
emailed,
great stuff going on out there in a lower budget world. I get it.
yeah, yeah, because cameras are not that
Cameras are
expensive and
great.
they're so good. But I emailed some of the local colleges' film departments or theater departments, and that's how I got some actors for the first movie, and how I got production interns, and they got better
Oh,
titles and everything. And they were awesome,
wow.
and we couldn't have made the movie without them.
Absolutely.
So,
And
but
we need that. We need more interns in my right this at this point. We're a small crew. I'm hoping that we have this is really exciting. We have people in the advertising world coming in this week from LA to talk with us even about product placement and so I mean
oh,
they feel so good about the show right now. I would be really blessed if this happens so early on. Even if it isn't, it doesn't matter. We will keep going and monetizing our own way, but that would be amazing. But we, tiny crew, we're a tiny crew at this point, but we'd love to be able to expand that and hire more people. Obviously, we'll hire more crew and more actors from this area and get people paid properly. Which I would love nothing more than that. So, and fly more people in and fly more, actors and even some names in, which we used to do for USA Network.
right.
But in the meantime, it's a great place to shoot from. There's a great wealth of talent, crew. Like you're right, the cameras are great. You can make things look amazing today. And you don't have to answer to anyone. And that's what's amazing because you go to LA and seriously, they take a meeting to take a meeting. And then you get all excited. They want everything like, I need a deck and I need this. And we have done that. We have gotten decks out. We've gotten footage out really fast. And then I'm like, well, so I have to get to this person and then we have to take a meeting and then things just fizzle and die where we could
Hmm.
just make it happen and put it on. It's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, I'll send you some of the contact people, the local
Please,
colleges. Yeah, I'm going to send you
please.
more information than you want, probably.
Please, please. No, I need it. We really need some interns. We would obviously do whatever we can to get them their credits and everything, but we need that more than anything. And like teleprompter. It was the first time we had the teleprompter where I didn't have anyone working, and teleprompter is really important to us. So I'm like Saturday Night Live, where they have to be around the set because we have too much material to even ask people to memorize. I mean, familiarity, but it's not like a film. It's
Right.
sketch comedy, it's move and groove and timing. But it's teaching people and they're going to learn a lot if they're here. They're going to soak up a lot and learn their way around a studio. But we could just use some people running and getting us props and taking care of things. So please send anybody in on our direction.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. The other thing that I wanted to touch on that you said, I had this conversation with my lead actress in Thanksgiving again. We had to drive up to my brother's to do like two scenes, which is a 3 hour drive. So I mean,
Oh, okay.
she was stuck in the car with me for a while. But I was talking to her. She's 27 years old, I think.
Right.
But even about like talking to her about she's having to decide when she might possibly want to have kids while pursuing an acting career because she can't have them while she's still young and but she doesn't want to wait till she's too old that she can't have kids and it's I'm like it's kind of it's depressing to an extent and I'm just a guy so but it's like women are like you can be the hot romantic lead up until this age, but then at that point, then you need to take like a 10-year sabbatical until you look old
You
enough to
know,
be the hot
it's
grandma.
it's
Or
really
so-
funny that you say that because I thought that was worse in my day, but it sounds like it's still there. So in my time in LA, and I started in my early 20s there, it's the same thing. But it was more like it was before the Me Too movement where truly people would say like, if you don't sleep with me, I'm gonna
Mm,
blackball you on the sound. I mean, of course, I did not take meetings in hotel rooms and I was I mean, agents sent me on meetings. And if I was ever like afraid of a meeting, there was a friend with me. But I was really lucky. I did have like a couple of times that were like a little weird and scary, but I knew enough to get away. So maybe if I would have slept around, I would have been bigger in my career, but I didn't go that route. But be that as it may, there was this connotation that if you were the sexy young ingenue, and I was definitely playing the sexy roles because that's what I would get cast in, um, that you couldn't be married, even though your personal life should have nothing to do with your career, but in Hollywood especially. So I waited and waited. Of course, there was no one that I really, I mean, I had serious boyfriends, but there was no one I was ready to get married with at the time. So I did pass that point. I actually am that story, and I have a book out and I talk about that. I passed that point. So I get back together with my junior high school sweetheart. We are married. I married my first love, literally my first love from New Orleans, and we started a business. And he's in this business with me, which is great. And we tried, but I was in my 40s and it just wasn't happening. And he has 2 kids, so I decided not to then go further with it. But exactly what you said happened to me. So I let that go by. And I thought nowadays that with the whole Me Too movement, that wouldn't be as much of an issue. But apparently, with you talking about your young actress, it is. And that's sad. I mean, so at some point, you just, what's sad is you see these big name stars having kids, but they can take away because their names are so big. Your A-listers, they're able, or the Kardashians where they have surrogate, which if I was going to have a child, that would not, I wouldn't want a surrogate. I'd want to carry the baby myself. That's just me personally. But you see them they can make it work, but their names are so big that they can take the 9 months off. And then they have trainers and everybody to get them back into shape. And
and they look exactly the same as they did before.
Somehow they're having surgery, whatever it's taking, they're getting back into shape. But for just a young lady who's doing it on her own, that's kind of sad. So at some point, she's just going to have to make that decision. And I don't think it's going to hurt her career at all. I was afraid, but there's a lot of my friends who stopped and had either 1 or 2 children or even more. And they did okay. So it's just that you just have to do that. And I highly recommend doing that. It's actually one of the few regrets of my life. Not horrible, because I wasn't that. I feel like I'm maternal to all the actors that I love helping. They're like all my little kids, people that I love putting up and helping and putting on camera, and stand-ups that I've helped, or models. They're my children that I've put out there. But I wasn't so maternal that I had to have a child. But if you are thinking about having a child at 27, you got to stop and do it.
Yeah, it's a weird. I mean, the one thing that and I felt terrible with this, the Thanksgiving Again, the movie,
Right.
had a plot line in it that the character she was playing was having difficulty getting pregnant.
Oh boy.
And one of the actresses who I really liked, her reel and everything, and I had all the actresses have a phone call with me before I even let them audition, because it's like,
Cool. Smart.
this is you're leading this movie, and I need to talk to you and make sure I can actually trust you and you're not going to be crazy, that kind of stuff. And I loved this actress, and great phone conversation. And she's like, the only thing is, I'll be 6 months pregnant when we're filming. And I'm like, and she had no idea the plot line. And she's like, I don't know if that's a problem. I'm like, unfortunately, that's a big problem. I'm like,
Yeah.
we can't do the Hollywood thing, the old sitcom thing where you hide your belly in every scene, because you're in every scene of the movie.
Right.
So I'm like, I felt terrible, but I'm like, it really would, I can't rewrite the movie.
No. And also, you just don't even know how someone's health, or how she'd be feeling. But you'll use her again. She'll come back around for another role. But and that's fine. But at least she made a life decision to do something that she wanted to do. And I think that's smart. I think that's really smart. But and we all choose that. I have a lot of friends who didn't have kids for similar reasons. We were so career focused that we didn't stop to do that. And many of them, like me, they're fine with it. And then there's a lot of people that have serious regrets over. But it's definitely something as a woman we need to think about, for sure. It's a great topic that you brought up, because in acting, that definitely does come up, especially if you start at an early age, because all of a sudden those years can just fly by, and they do.
Yeah.
They actually do. And then all of a sudden you're in that moment. But Yeah, but I do have a lot of children and they're like actors. And it's been actually kind of special to have like so many people. I've seen a lot of people have gone off and done really well. But what's kind of cool about even Up All Night is like back in the day we had a lot of, famous people on, and I don't think we're going to have trouble getting people back on again for little guest spots, because like people like JB Smoove have reached out to us, and I haven't reached out to him, but Bill Hader has credited me with his career in a few
Hmm.
articles I've read. So that would be my fantasy. I haven't reached out to
Well,
him
he
yet.
has to go. He's one of the best comedic actors out
Just
there.
amazing. I really feel like I just want to get a couple more shows under our belt, and then I'm going to reach out to his publicist and see if we just can't get him on for an appearance. But I think I want to become that show that like actors want to drop in and promote or whatever, uh, but have fun with. And whether we have like this magic heart on the set that's kind of, so when it's not just like a Zoom call, it's more like you're written into the script. We'll give them some lines that makes them part of the script, and then but then they can still go and promote or talk about whatever ever they want. But it's like a little acting part within our little magic heart. So it's fun to be able to utilize that now. You couldn't do that before, Zoom and things like that, and make it part of the show. But definitely the more people that we have in studio. But I do find that people don't mind coming to Florida. I have, gosh, let's see, I have one, two, I have a large cast that's coming up this week, and four of my cast members, two are coming from New York, one's from I forget. I think one's from LA, one's coming in from LA, hoping planes are fine. So we definitely have, people want to be part of the show, and they're making their way here, as you said, as you and I have done.
Yeah. Well, anyone from New York in the winter months would be a fool not to want to come down here.
Exactly. Exactly.
That's
No, it's
that's
true.
the time to strike on anyone in New York. I've got to ask what's the story, if you can tell it, as to why Bill Hader gives you all the credit.
But just because of like what you said, he said that he used to watch. I don't know if it was with his father, but he used to watch the show, and I don't know why it was Friday night, not Gilbert, but he would watch, and there was like a couple of movies that he was into too. He liked the silliness of my character and all the crazy characters that we did, which is exactly, feeds my soul, because my God, who's a better character actor than he is? And then he liked a lot of the films too. So it was like both things spoke to him, the sketches and the films.
Mm.
So, I mean, I don't know him personally, but I am going to reach out. Believe me, I will. And I mean, what an honor that he would even say that. And he has said it quite a few times. So that's why it's out there. Like if you Google it, it comes up. It's like, wow, what an honor. I mean, he's pretty major. But
Yeah.
we had, I mean, even back in the day, I had Paul Rudd on that back when he was a baby, and Eddie Murphy and Chris Rock and people. I mean, back, they were just starting in the industry too. So the people that we've had on the show, whether it be during interviews or we were on location and grabbing shows out there in the world, and a lot of it in LA. So a lot of premieres and things like that we covered, or if it was in the studio, we had a lot of people want to come into the studio too. So just making that fun kind of world again, kind of like a Pee Wee Herman playhouse.
Yeah. No, no, no. It just it's full of potential for stuff like that. And it doesn't surprise me. And it is cool to think anything you put out there, even things that don't get great numbers, you never know who's gonna see it.
Exactly.
And because I had, why am I blanking? I had somebody socially come up to me at a grocery store and say something, and I'm like, I'm sorry. I probably was really drunk when I met you or something, but I'm not even placing your face. And they're like, "Oh, no, I know you from your I think it was the
Oh,
podcast." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, cool. Thank you."
no, and it lives out there forever. And you're right. So many people do see these things. So to jump to my other business, which is the intimate apparel business. So we've been on Home Shopping Network for years, which reaches millions and millions of customers and viewers. And but even that world has changed a lot to where people are shopping on Facebook and on TikTok and on Amazon. So we have started selling on Amazon and TikTok as well. Now, when you first start on those, I going from selling thousands and thousands of units to like one or two or three or four units. But what I've told everybody is if you're going to do anything on camera, whether it be on Amazon or YouTube or wherever, you have to be consistent with whatever time you're on, and you have to always be there. So if it's a once a week thing, you need to be there Wednesday at 2 p.m., then you need to be there Wednesday at 2 p.m. and you will build. And that's what's happened even with our Instagram and our Amazon and everything in selling and our sales, that we are consistent and they've grown, they keep growing and growing. So I think that's the whole key to this world is, yes, you can do it on your own, but if you're just helter skelter, they'll never find you. You have to make it kind of a destination and just keep putting it out there and do as much social media as you can, and it will build. It will build. And we're kind of on, even though it seems like we've been doing this a long time, we're still on the cusp of this. And it's a great time to be starting anything, whether it be making a film that you're doing or a YouTube show. I think we're at great beginnings right now.
Yeah, it's a fun world where people have some. I've talked to some creators who are like, the problem is there's too much out there, and it's like, but I think that's a great thing. Like that just means everyone's looking. Like
Exactly. I'm not
nobody.
afraid of that.
Yeah, nothing's going to be I Love Lucy where 50 million people are watching it
No,
live.
no.
Nothing's ever going to be like that, but that's because they really had like two or three options back then.
Right, right. You had like four stations growing up, but look at this show, YouTube, the Hot Wing Show, millions and millions of viewers.
Yeah.
So this is not so unusual. I mean, even the fact of Kings of Horror, they and his other channels, 3 million subscribers. That's a lot. So
Yeah.
you don't need 50 million, and you can monetize these things as well. So you don't need that, and you might get that. You just have to be consistent and persistent and keep going at it and put, if you put out a good product, people will find it. I'm convinced of that. Whether you're a singer, whatever your talent is, they'll find you. The problem that I'm hearing, like in stand-up comedy, a lot of these comics that have millions and millions of followers on YouTube or TikTok, they're great, but they get to, and they book them because they have all these followers, but they've never really done their act in front of a real audience. So they kind of
Yeah.
flop there. So there's only one problem with that, is that they probably won't have longevity in their career, but they're putting butts in seats. So the club owners love it because people are going to see them. But the thing is, if the word of mouth is, well, this person's really great on TikTok, but it doesn't transcend over, that's a problem. So, it will weed out the best. I mean, I
Yeah.
still think if you're a live performer, you still have to go on in a live place, a comedy club, or if you're a singer or wherever you go to sing, to do your material, because it's not the same as just being in front of a camera yourself and doing it alone. It's not. That will
No.
never. And I think there'll be more of a yen for live performing going forward, because there'll be so much on people will watch us, but then they're going to want to see the live version of us too. And that's what's really cool about our show. Hopefully down the line is we will do some live shows. We are set up to be able to go live at any time. So we'll do some live specials, which will, people like to feel like they're part of a viewing culture. So even though our show is live to tape, we are going to, like our first show, we watched it in real time with viewers, and I made comments and was watching the show with them, and they love that. So that's a new element that wasn't around years ago, which is really fun.
Yeah, no, that I've been a part of a few things like that for different things, whether it's a sports show where I'm
Right.
just commenting or whatever. But yeah, it's really cool to have the interaction with other
Yes.
people while it's
Yes.
going on. Yeah, and I know some comedians have done that with their specials that they
Ah,
put out on YouTube. They'll have it, premiering at a time, and they'll be in the, comments responding to people, and I'm like,
that's
that's
wild.
such a cool. And when I see a comedian who's doing that, I'm like, oh, I need to make sure I'm on at this time because
Yeah. I'd like to see that. I'd like to see that. I mean, I hear this incredible surge of comics that are like have these millions of followers, and so they definitely fill the clubs. But it'd be interesting. I mean, I've heard of a few that they don't perform as well because they don't have the timing that you get
oh
by
yeah,
performing live and knowing, and not all jokes work like you think they would work. Stand-up comedy is definitely an interesting animal that stands alone as well. But
yeah.
I think we're both in a great place. I love that you're doing films. I love that I've been acting in films, and I love that we're creating up all night. And then I have a big, my thing is being able to produce and literally help write and cast. Although I'd like to step back a little bit from that so that on shoot days like this week, I can just enjoy the process of acting. You know,
Oh yeah, no, I
I'm
know.
not sure you understand
That's
that.
because I directed the first movie I did. I was the lead actor, and someone else wrote and directed. I executive produced it, but I was focused on the day of. Other than like
Oh,
lunch stuff, I was like just focused on acting. This I
that's great.
directed the second one, and so many times the scenes that I'm in, I'm like, I wish I had known this shot didn't work as well as I thought it did, but
Yeah,
I didn't see it until nighttime when I was watching the dailies. So I'm like, we're not going to reshoot the scene because it's not
no.
perfect because we don't have time to do that in
That's,
a low
I
budget
know,
film.
I admire anybody at any level who does that. It's really hard. I mean, even our first shoot, I mean, my mind was like on the production end and I could see where I mean, in my mind, cameras, I tried to shut it off, but this one, I have a really great director that's directing me who does a lot of films. I don't know if you know him, Joe Davison, and he's also comedic and does horror films. And he's been around a long time in the industry. So I'm thrilled. I'm really hoping that I can just really step back and take his direction and enjoy the process of acting or the comedy part because I have comedians and the our cast is really good, really, and our bits are really good. But I mean, I help write those too.
You better think they're good.
No, they're really good. I have a really great writer who actually listens to me and takes, but he's got, I mean, we go back and forth. If it doesn't work, that's, you know, we need more writers. Right now we have one, but he so gets it. So he so gets it. And, you know, I think it'll get too busy for him to write every other week. I think it'll catch up at some point, but he's got, he's got exactly where I want to go with this in his head. So that's really nice. So yeah, it's been my crazy. I've got crazy concepts going forward, things with drones, it's just all kinds of stuff, and I just can't wait to do it.
Awesome. Well, tell my audience again, where to
Yes.
go to find everything. All the links, of course, will be
Okay.
below.
Okay. Thank you so much. Okay, so our Thanksgiving show, and if you were a fan of Up All Night back in the 90s, you're going to love this. But our link is kingsofhorror.com, or you can go to YouTube and just search Kings of Horror. It's all things horror. You're going to love it. It's a fun channel, and just look up the show Up All Night. And if you just want to shop and see where I am going to be, conventions and otherwise, and appearances, it's Rhonda Shear upallnight.com. Rhonda Shear upallnight.com. And if you want some lingerie or intimate apparel, like for your mom, then you can just go to rhondashear.com and you'll see my intimate apparel business. It's kind of interesting. And I do think that being an entrepreneur in that world and then acting, but also the producing and that side, I do think they all come together. You have to be a little entrepreneurial because you have to understand the financing as well. So it's a good combination. But I do want to just enjoy the whole acting and having fun and feeding my soul this week. But yeah, definitely see us on November 22nd, 10 p.m. Eastern Time, kingsofhorror.com, and also December the 20th for our Christmas special, 10 p.m. Eastern on kingsofhorror.com. And it's going to be a fun ride.
Awesome. Well, I'm excited to watch. I won't watch Thanksgiving again before Up
But
All
you've got
Night
your own show.
because
So
I've seen the movie a million times. I don't need to see it again. But everyone else should watch it
yes.
before and then enjoy Up All Night.
Yes, perfect. Well,
Yeah,
I'm excited for you. Congratulations. We definitely need to work together, both in front, behind the camera. We've got to do stuff together.
for sure, for sure. Yes, I will definitely be in touch. I'm so excited you're in St. Pete too. Not that it would have
Yes.
been a deal breaker if you were in Tampa, but I'm like, oh, that's so much better.
No, we're really centrally located, you know, near Feather Sound, near where Home Shopping Network was. So we're
Oh
a
gosh,
very,
yeah.
very
I'm
easy to find, a lovely studio.
I almost told you where I was. I'll stop the
Tell me
recording
later.
before I tell you.
Cool. No, that's awesome. Well, thank you, Jeff. Congratulations on your film too, and our big releases on Thanksgiving.
Awesome. Thanks again, Rhonda. This was great.
Thanks, Jeff. Thank you.
That's it. That's all. Hope you had a ball. You've heard it a few times in the intro, in the episode. Check out Up All Night, Saturday, November 22nd at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. Really want people to watch this show because, again, anything shot in the Tampa Bay area just helps all of the Tampa Bay area. I know not all of my audience is local. In fact, I would guess less than half of it is local, but nonetheless, It's selfishly, I don't care. So watch Up All Night. Please keep buying and renting Thanksgiving again. I guess if you've already bought it, it wouldn't make sense to buy it again. But tell a friend that you enjoyed it. Give it a rating on IMDb. Uh, share it with some people. If you enjoyed it, share it. Tell people about it. Post about it on socials, whatever you want to do. All right. Boom. It's over.